the most important thing to talk about, I think, is mindset. You've been very clear, I think, about having a different mindset than most people. And as I was preparing for this conversation, I was reading through a lot of the things that you've written. And if I had to sum it up, I think that we see eye to eye in that a lot of people are complacent, they're soft, and they basically just make excuses, right? It's, hey, I can't do something because ABC, thing. Talk a little bit about your mindset. You've got this line, victimhood is a killer, which already people are getting all worked up about probably. And kind of just like why the mental side of this or the perspective that you hold is such an advantage when you're investing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think my joke is you can enter the race for who's the biggest victim, but you're not going to like the prize. And I think one of maybe the only reasons I can still say that is because I'm a Latina and I'm a woman, and maybe that checks two boxes. But the truth of it is, if we actually want to help people and not race to who is the best at virtue signaling, if we want to help people, we would never put them in a victim mentality, because that tells you that you are small, weak, not powerful, and that the things that happened to you were not things that you can overcome. We would want to put them in a victor mentality, where you have been through trials and tribulations and difficulty, maybe more than other people. Maybe you've been through atrocities, but you are still alive and breathing, and so you are a victor. And that is the different mentality. And I think today more than ever, the saddest part is that so many people get upset by that. Like, how would you get upset by the idea that you allow somebody to name you a victim and somebody comes along and says, you know what, you're more powerful than that. I have a bigger belief in you and you can do bigger things. And people are like, no, don't tell them that. Get them back down there. And I think that is the travesty of our day and age, is the narrative has been so flipped. So if you could really take one thing away from everything you talk about and all of you talk about, and I talk about, it's not the tactics, which is a lot of what we talked about today. It's every time you hear that little voice in your head that says, I can't, I'm not smart enough, I'm not able to, just flip it and instead say, how could I? How could this work? How could I accomplish this? And I wish more people would do that. I mean, I'm married to a former Navy SEAL. And so, when I talk about tough, it's comical because like we do a workout together and I about die. But what I've learned from those guys is that like when you ask them what it takes to go through buds, none of it is physical. My husband would tell you it is, yes, you have to have a baseline physical foundation, but it is completely mental. And it is, can you laugh? Like his thing when he was going through buds was every time they would do something terrible to them, like go, swim 400, miles and then roll around in the dirt and then don't sleep for 7 days. And they would get in his face about it and be like, what do you think about this? He would tell them a joke. And he would laugh every time a difficulty was presented to himself. So to this day, every time he gets hurt, he's always like, oh man, that hurt. And that change of mentality is everything.